Christmas cookies. Getting ready for New Year's 2025. I hope y'all made some New Year's resolutions to try to better yourself, to try to help others, to do better in school, whatever. I've tried to make some New Year's resolutions. I made a few, and I hope I can stick with them and not back out or neglect them, because every year we always say we want to be like a better person, but in reality we gotta like butt up or shut up. So I hope y'all can like butt it up, because I'm gonna put it up this year. Like, one of them is to be better at ASMR, because like right now I'm like an amateur, but I can always do better. And also a way for me to get better is just hear y'all feedback in the comments. So please comment and just say how I'm doing, and I want to get better. And please subscribe to my TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram. So yeah guys, but okay, let's get ready. How to Meditate, a Practical Guide by Kathleen McDonald. How to meditate. Part 1. Mind and Meditation. Everyone wants happiness, yet few of us seem to find it. In our search for satisfaction, we go from one relationship to another, one job to another, one country to another. We study art and medicine, train to be tennis players and typists, have babies, race cars, write books, and grow flowers. We spend our money on elaborate stereo systems, home computers, comfortable furniture, and vacations in the sun. Or we try to get back to nature, eat whole foods, practice yoga, and meditate. Just about everything we do is an attempt to find real happiness and avoid suffering. There is nothing wrong with any of these things. There is nothing wrong with having relationships and possessions. The problem is that we see them as having some inherent ability to satisfy us, as being the cause of happiness. But they cannot be, simply because they do not last. Everything by nature constantly changes and eventually disappears. Our body, our friends, all of our belongings, the environment. Our dependence on impermanent things and clinging to the rainbow-like happiness they bring cause only disappointment and grief, not satisfaction and contentment. We do experience happiness with our things outside ourselves, but it doesn't really satisfy us or free us from our problems. It is poor quality happiness, unreliable and short-lived. This does not mean we would give up our friends and possessions in order to be happy. Rather, what we need to give up are our misconceptions about them and our unrealistic expectations of what they can do for us. Not only do we see them as permanent and able to satisfy us, at the root of our problems is our fundamentally mistaken views of reality. We believe instinctively that people and things exist in and of themselves from their own side, that they ourselves. We think, for example, that chocolate is inherently delicious or that success is inherently satisfying, but surely, if they were, they would never fail to give pleasure or to satisfy, and everyone would experience them in the same way. Our mistaken idea is deeply ingrained and habitual. It colors all of our relationships and dealings with the world. We probably rarely question whether or not the way we see things is the way they actually exist, but once we do it, it will be obvious that our picture of reality is exaggerated and one-sided, that the good and bad qualities we see in things are actually created and projected by our own mind. According to Buddhism, there is lasting, stable happiness, and everyone has the potential to experience it. The cause of happiness lies within our mind, and methods for achieving it can be practiced by anyone, anywhere, in any lifestyle, living in the city, working an 8-hour job, raising a family, playing at weekends. By practicing these methods, meditation, we can learn to be happy at any time, in any situation, even difficult and painful ones. Eventually, we can free ourselves of problems like dissatisfaction, anger, and anxiety, and finally, by realizing the actual way that things exist, we will eliminate completely the very source of all disturbing states of mind so that they will never arise again. What is the mind? Mind, or consciousness, is at the heart of Buddhist theory and practice. For the last 2,500 years, meditators have been investigating and using a means of transcending unsatisfactory existence and achieving perfect peace. It is said that all happiness, ordinary and sublime, is achieved by understanding and transforming our own mind, a non-physical kind of energy. The mind's function is to know, to experience. It is awareness itself. It is clear in nature and reflects everything that it experiences, just as a still lake reflects the surrounding mountains and forests. Mind changes from movement to movement. It is a beginningless continuum, like an ever-flowing stream. That previous mind movement gave rise to this mind movement, which gives rise to the next mind movement, and so on. It is general name given to the totality of our conscious and unconscious experiences. Each of us is the center of a world of thoughts, perceptions, feelings, memories, and dreams. All of these are mind. Mind is not a physical thing that has thoughts and feelings. It is those very experiences. Being non-matter, it is different from the body, although mind and body are interconnected and interdependent. Mind consciousness is carried through our body by subtle physical energies, which also control our movement and vital functions. This relationship explains for why, for example, physical sickness and discomfort can affect our state of mind, and why, in turn, mental attitudes can both give rise to and heal physical problems. Mind can be compared to an ocean, and momentarily, mental events such as happiness, elation, fantasies, and boredom to the waves that rise and fall on its surface. Just as the waves can subside to reveal the stillness of the ocean's depths, so too it is possible to calm the turbulence of our mind to reveal its natural, pristine clarity. The ability to do this lies within the mind itself, and the key to the mind's meditation. Chapter 2. What is implications on the mind and the nature of things, thinking about and carefully analyzing this information, and finally transforming the mind throughout meditation. The mind can be divided into sense consciousness, sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch, and mental consciousness. Mental consciousness ranges from our grossest experiences of anger or desire, for example, to the subtlest level of complete stillness and clarity. It includes our intellectual processes, our feelings and emotions, our memory, and our dreams. Meditation is an activity of the mental consciousness. It involves one part of the mind observing, analyzing, and dealing with the rest of the mind. Meditation can take many forms: concentrating single-pointedly on an internal object, trying to understand some personal problem, generating a joyful love for all humanity, praying to an object of devotion, or communicating with our own inner wisdom. Its ultimate aim is to awaken a very subtle level of consciousness and to use it to discover reality, direct and intuitively. This direct, intuitive awareness of how things are is known as enlightenment and is the end result of the Mahayana Buddhist practice. The purpose of reaching it and the drive forcing behind all practice is to help others reach it too. The Tibetan term for meditation means literally to become familiar. There are many different meditation techniques and many things in the mind to become familiar with. Each technique has specific functions and benefits, and each is a part of the framework for bringing our mind to a realistic view of the world. It might be best to start by saying what meditation is not, because there are many misunderstandings about it. For one thing, meditation is not simply a matter of sitting in a particular position or breathing in a particular way. It is a state of mind. Although the best results usually come when we meditate in a quiet place, we can also meditate while working, walking, riding on a bus, or cooking dinner. One Tibetan meditator realized emptiness while chopping on wood, and another attained single-pointed concentration while cleaning his teacher's room. First, we learn to develop the meditative state of mind in formal sitting practices, but once we are good at it, we can be more freestyle and creative and can generate this mental state at any time, in any situation. By then, meditation has become a way of life. Meditation is not something foreign or unsuitable for the Western mind. There are different methods practiced in different cultures, but they all share common principles of the mind simply becoming familiar with various aspects of itself. In the mind of every person, Eastern or Western, has the same basic elements and experiences, the same basic problems, and the same potential. Meditation is not spacing out or running away. In fact, it is being totally honest with ourselves, taking a good look at what we are working with, that in order to become more positive and useful to ourselves and others. There are both positive and negative aspects of the mind. The negative aspects are mental disorders, or quite literally delusions. Delusions include jealousy, anger, desire, pride, and like that. These arise from our misunderstandings of reality and habitual clinging to the way we see things. Throughout meditation, we can recognize our mistakes and adjust our mind to think and react more realistically, more honestly. The final goal, enlightenment, is a long-term one, but meditation done with the goal in our mind can and do have enormous short-term benefits. As our concrete picture of reality softens, we developed more positive and realistic self-image and are thus more relaxed and less anxious. We learn to have fewer unrealistic expectations of the people and things around us, and therefore meet with less disappointment, jealousy, much less make an effort to hold back with old familiar tides of feelings or analyze the cause and result. Transforming the mind is a slow and gradual process. It is a matter of ridding ourselves bit by bit of instinctive harmful habits, patterns, and become familiar with habits that necessarily bring positive results to ourselves and others. There are many meditation techniques, but all can be included under two headings: stabilizing and analytical. Stabilizing meditation. In general, this type of meditation is used to develop what is known as single-pointed concentration, a prerequisite for any lasting insight. The aim is to concentrate upon one object, the breath, the nature of one's own mind, a concept, a visualized image, without interruption. Concentration without interruption is the exact opposite of our usual state of mind. If you turn inwards for a few moments, you will notice your mind jumping from one thing to another, a thought of something you will do later, a sound outside, a friend, something that happened earlier, a physical sensation, a cup of coffee. We never need to say to the mind, think or feel. It is always busy doing something, speeding along, an energy of its own. With such a scattered and uncontrolled mind, there is a little chance of success in anything we do, whether it is remembering a telephone number, cooking a meal, or running a business. And certainly without concentration, successful meditation is impossible. Stabilizing meditation is not easy, but it is essential for bringing the mind under control. Although developing of actual single-pointed concentration is the work of full-time meditators, we don't need to retreat at the mountains to experience the benefit of this kind of meditation. Even in our day-to-day city life, we can develop good concentration by regularly doing 10 or 15 minutes a day of stabilizing meditation, keeping our minds focused on a single object and letting go of all other thoughts. It brings to an immediate sense of spaciousness and allows us to see the workings of our mind more clearly, both during the meditation and throughout the rest of our day. Analytical meditation. This is the type of meditation brings into play creative, intellectual thought and is crucial in our development. The first step in gaining any real insights is to understand conceptually how things are. This conceptual clarity develops into firm conviction, which, when combined with stabilizing meditation, brings direct and intuitive knowing. However, even before we can know how things are, we must first identify our wrong conceptions. Using clear, penetrative, and analytical thought, we unravel the complexities of our attitudes and behavioral patterns. Gradually, we can eliminate those thoughts, feelings, and ideas that cause ourselves and others unhappiness, and in their place, cultivate thoughts, feelings, and ideas that bring happiness. In this way, we become familiar with the reality of, for example, cause and effect, that our present experiences are the result of our past actions and the cause of our future experiences, or with the fact that all things lack an inherent nature. We can meditate point by point on the benefits of patience and disadvantages of anger, on the values of developing compassion, on the kindness of others. In one sense, an analytical meditation session is an intuitive study session. However, the level of conceptual thought that we can reach during these meditations is more suitable and therefore more potent than our thoughts during day-to-day life. Because our senses are not being bombarded by the usual frantic input, we are able to concentrate more strongly and develop a fine-tuned sensitivity to the workings arises, we should then stop thinking and focus on our attention and single pointedly on the feelings for as long as possible. We should soak our mind in the experience. When the feelings fade, we can either continue analyzing or conclude the session. This method of combining the two kinds of meditation causes the mind literally to become one with the object of meditation. The stronger our concentration, the deeper our insight will be. We need to repeat this process again and again with anything we want to understand in order to transform our insight into actual experience. Stabilizing meditations such as the breathing meditations will also get better if some skillful analysis is used. When we sit down to meditate, we should start by examining our state of mind and clarifying our motivation for doing the practice. And this involves analytical thought. During the meditation itself, we might find concentration especially difficult. At such times, it is good to analyze the problem for a few moments, then to replace the mind on the breath. And sometimes it is useful to check on the mind during the meditation to make sure it is not daydreaming, but doing what it's supposed to be doing. The meditations in this book are divided into 4 sections. The first of these, meditation on the mind, includes 3 techniques that help develop awareness of the mind itself. The breathing meditation, often called mindfulness meditation, is primarily a stabilizing practice that uses the breath as the object of concentration. Beginners are advised to start with this practice as it calms the mind, enabling us to see more clearly how it works. The other meditations in this section are for developing an awareness of the clear nature of the mind and the beginninglessness and continuity of the mind. All techniques involves both stabilization and analysis. The next section, analytical meditations, offers 7 techniques for looking into and analyzing our assumptions about how things exist, about life, death, suffering, and compassion, and finally, advice on dealing with our negative energy in everyday life. If you are just learning to slow the mind down with, say, the breathing meditations, you might not feel ready to tackle any of these subjects in formal meditation. However, simply reading through this section provides plenty of food for throughout. Next is visualization meditations. 6 techniques introduce visualizations as used in Vajrayana's practice. All combine stabilization and analysis. The final section of the main body of the book, devotional practices, include several more meditations as well as prayers and other practices. It is important to go slowly and adopt new methods only when you are ready. There is no point trying to do meditations that seem strange or complicated or whose purpose is not clear. It is better to stick to 1 or 2 methods whose benefits you can really experience. However, everything in this book is an integral part of balanced spiritual growth and a step on a path that is vast and